All right. Happy Sunday. 'Tis the season. My hands are cold. Hope everyone's having a lovely day. Let's kick things off. Welcome to Unmuzzled Chat. Now, I guess I went too low there. I don't want show notes. I just want to chat. I want to talk. I want to get some things off my chest or share some more light on Unmuzzled Chat here. I've had a very humbling realization with everything we're trying to accomplish here. Like, whoa, I'm the real limiter to what we're trying to achieve. And I just want listeners to understand that, like, we're trying to be intentional here. And that is posing some grave challenges, absolutely grave challenges. I mean, the very discussion had yesterday with this amazing author, Justin, we had a very challenging moment amongst that very episode. Not that I feel like it was successfully overcome to an extent. However, it could be having an ill effect on even the listeners. Like, oh, what is this about? And anyway, I just kind of had a realization where no wonder Joe Rogan and some of these other podcasters are just doing these fun things, self-serving things that they love and enjoy. And, okay, that's great, but here on Unmuzzled, we want to we want things to be more intentional, to help improve lives from the very guests that come on, to the listeners, and Unmuzzled's reach to magnify that helping effect, right? And I think it's clear to me that probably the funnest, most enjoyable episodes, even though the challenging ones, will provide the most opportunity for refinement on, let's say, my end, which I onboard with excitement. But I think the most fun episodes are obviously just going to be about people's life stories, where we're really just having that more so natural conversation, and where I can in fact be more so a listener and not really necessarily needing to direct the conversation, if that makes sense. But with some of the information, that being said, and trying to be intentional, there's just a fine balance where it's like, hey, let's stay on topic and let's have a maximum impact. So versus, like, say, these Joe Rogan platforms, it's that in and of itself just magnifies the challenge like tenfold, if not more, from so many angles, not just from you know keeping cool in the conversations, becoming effective. Like, it's gonna, as we touch on controversial topics, it could sadly even become threatening. Not here even, but as we touch on certain topics that land like disagreeable to a listener or whatnot, like there is we've already touched on, like, there's gonna be haters that will wanna lash out, right? So I mean, it kind of goes without saying that, well, if we were all about just, becoming the number one podcast and just having fun, then we would just stay away from all of that. But if we were to be blessed in having outreach, I feel there's a level of responsibility for all these platforms to challenge themselves to have these discussions, because once again, as adults, why is it that we cannot, like, there's certain words or certain topics, and if you go down that road, it's strategically effectively being implemented versus, like, because when you really step back, there really shouldn't be anything that we can't talk about, right? Really. Um yeah, so it's, I need to stop throwing all these filler words. I have so much refinement to be had. I mean, it wasn't that long ago. I didn't even want someone to come over because it was so challenging to even communicate or spend that energy, and then in communication and being around someone just looking count down like need to get back to me time to where I'm at now. So I got to give myself some grace. It's going to take some time, but I'm very excited. So anyway, it's like we all can acknowledge that this is a much harder road to go down, and it's like, why go down that road? Is because, well, we all need to do this more and challenge ourselves to do this more and catch ourselves, and myself even, when I'm getting worked up. I can see in that very conversation with Justin where I could have directed the conversation far greater, step back, listen, because everything he was saying and touching on was very agreeable and factual and true. And so I kind of catch myself like, man, I, the art of communication, what a challenge. What a beautiful thing to hone in on and focus on and try to work on within ourselves, knowing we will never fully arrive, that we will forever have refining to do on just communicating with one another. Like, what a concept to really acknowledge and try to grasp and absorb and humble ourselves. And man, what a humbling experience looking back on that and watching that and just like, James, I get you at a point and you're trying to de-demonize a very effective, like, specific topic that has been demonized, but you're not communicating it in an effective way. And this can be done, this can be detrimental to your cause, the very topic you're trying to touch on, to the individual you're in fact in direct communication with. And you can do better. You must do better. And I'm excited to do better. So as fun as all that, the rest of that conversation is, and as much as that set portion of it weighs on me to an extent, that's my favorite part, because it's like, that poses the greatest level, like, uh, opportunity for refinement on my end. And I only hope that I'm not too human, that I can effectively refine my side of things to more effectively, like, that I don't have to go through and relearn. Now, I am human. We are emotional creatures, I'm sure, at times. And in the moment, we just get so stuck on, like, getting a point across, we stop, like, actually listening. We're more so, in a way, both in that moment seeking to get our point across more than seeking to understand the other individual. And as soon as we can set that down and seek to understand that other individual, more than likely give that other individual validation and, the proper time, then okay, then it typically, right, should be effectively reciprocated. And if it isn't, like, being able to acknowledge and see that and give that other individual the proper grace. I mean, man, the art of communication. I mean, it just makes sense why people really aren't challenging themselves anymore on all this, because it's it's tough. And things have been so polarized that you're you can be legitimately threatened, whether in the moment or by, you know, just having that impact on other people. So, man, I love you guys. I do appreciate the feedback. I do want to refine my side of things, and I'm working on cleaning up my language, cleaning up, you know, all the filler words. Um, try to, because even for me, as I play some of this back, how many phrases I'm using it nauseum is just like, wow, let's grow your vocabulary here, bud. And I mean, it's just, but that's a beautiful thing that we all could hone in on. Luckily for a lot of you, you just automatically are a lot further on the progression side of things. But nonetheless, like we'll never fully arrive on it, right? So just, man, the more we could be humble and meek and seek that, everyone in our lives, especially ourselves, will be blessed. I'm sure beyond our own imagine. Like we can't even fully grasp. So, challenge right there for everyone. Try to show more patience and seek to understand more so than seek to be understood. Yeah. I think, man, this was really off the cuff. I just want to say hello. Happy Sunday. And touch on those things. And man, it's a lot we're trying to touch here. Yeah, because that's a kind of another realization that I've personally had where even on family members and loved ones and people very close to me, like, oh, have you checked it out? What are your thoughts? I'd love to know your feedback. And no, I'm not just doing this to get another view. Genuinely, I want the feedback. And they didn't even necessarily get through a single full episode, which is fine. But so it's just a realization on my end that once it's so hard to grasp and capture. We can't on every moment of every episode capture every single person's like out there, right? That's just not going to happen. But it just was really eye opening that, oh, I just don't think your content, like, it just doesn't resonate with me. I'm not interested. And it's like, oh, really? Okay, well, tell me more about that. And come to find out, oh, just not interested, whether it be in the politics or, you know, some of the things information we're trying to get on, or religion. And I'm like, okay, but I know this individual and they put so much effort, energy, time, and finances into becoming the best version of themselves, and that's what we're trying to like achieve, right? Uh, all the tools, let's lay them all out to where uniquely people can see, oh yeah, this tool is better than this one for me in my life, and just really try to get organized in that sense. And but so many people are just, it's interesting. I'm just trying to grasp, well, how, okay, so this in and of itself poses an opportunity, a challenge for Unmuzzled Chat to be effective, is like, as well as intentional, in a way that, man, how do we capture, like that's on that single episode with this individual, it wasn't even what he didn't even necessarily grasp what we're about here, and prejudged essentially like, oh yeah, I'm just not interested in politics. It's like, whoa, we're far bigger than that, you know. We have personal testimonials, and we're gonna have fitness gurus like freaking Hulks that are coming in here that don't just know it, they are living it, right? Proof with your own eyes. um so we're going to cover like all the bases, and you know, hopefully we'll get organized enough that when for those individuals that just want to tune into potentially certain content, they could do so, right? And maybe we'll become effective enough, entertainment value wise, some way or another, or by bringing in even more people into the podcast realm, realizing, oh my gosh, like, because some people just aren't accustomed to putting something in their ear and doing the audible and whistling while they work. And it actually is a skill to be developed. For a long time, I remember originally doing the audible books before podcasting really took off while I was swinging a hammer. A lot of the times, like, I'm like, okay, like, I didn't even listen to that last chapter because I'm so engaged in what I'm doing. You know, like, it's obviously important I effectively fulfill my job and what I'm being paid to do. So I felt like, to an extent, oh, I can't be dishonest in my dealings. So I would, put the book down essentially, or pause it, right? But over time, I genuinely, I mean, in a way, got so much enjoyment. I felt like it got to a point it even upped my production, but I had to develop that skill to where I could multitask effectively. And granted, there still was moments where, oh my gosh, this was so good. I actually wanted to journal and make notes to reference this Audible book or whatnot. So I would pause it at that point because, the job was more important in a way. And I could do those type of things in my personal time. But anyway, just personal challenges. It's like you don't know what you don't know. You don't know how impactful and positive and influential and beneficial and all these things that this realm actually can give you. And it's interesting personally for me how it went from Audible and then now way more so in this, podcast realm versus Audible. Now Audible still got amazing things I still want to tune into, say how to win friends and influence people, how to the bonds that make us free or set us free, bonds that make us free. Oh my gosh, that's a really good one, and it parallels how to win friends and influence people, but even on a more pure sense, as to how we could look inwardly and actually achieve that. Anyway, it's really cool. Now, another thing. See, I'm kind of using filler words trying to even catch my thought, like right now, and I'm kind of catching myself. And it's okay. We could have a few seconds of silence. That was actually another person that was saying that I'm very appreciative with feedback. Like, get comfortable with a few moments of silence. Gather your thoughts. Could have way more a desired outcome and be more even impactful. So thank you for that. I'm giving it a few seconds and my brain isn't pulling it together. Oh my gosh. Another James moment. My gosh. I'm special. There was another point. Podcasting. Bear with me. I apologize. Listening, devices, how it became effective. Okay, I think this was the point I wanted to articulate. Thanks for bearing with me. Where it was very interesting. I mean, to this day, I've probably listened to more Joe Rogan episodes than any other singularly of these patriots. Now it's nearing probably equal, but if you combine all this patriotic like time I put into, oh, it blows Joe Rogan out of the water now. Are you kidding me? But that was like pre-pandemic, pre me even becoming aware as to how important it is to source information, how important it is to do my due diligence on these things and really seeing the threat. So my hat's off to those that even saw this way before even the pandemic. My goodness, like, you were very aware and doing your due diligence. Holy smokes. That's awesome. And there was part of me that was tuned in to an extent before, but it just really didn't hit me hard enough. I still was gravitating towards the entertainment value, say, of a Joe Rogan style podcast. But it came to a point with, personally for me, the way the world it was going. Wow. Um, it became more important because I wasn't getting fed enough that information on, say, Joe Rogan. So it's just like, as much as we all love our entertainment, it became more important to protect myself, my loved ones, my family, and, even in a selfish sense, me, than absorb the entertainment value. So that's where it started transitioning to these other Patriots. Now, Joe's done a few heavy hitters like Having Malone or Jordan Peterson and certain things, but he's felt the pressure of that, and he's in a level of, for lack of better words, there's a sense of cowardice that he back throttles, and he's not genuinely allowing the heavy hitters and real true patriots on that. And I can't judge a man, right? Because in his own way, he's still having a positive impact, which is freaking awesome. But I'd love to see more of that. It's more so catered to one side of things than really being open to, kind of going back to his earlier things, like, just being. It seems like he more so was originally capturing some of the things we're trying to effectively hit here, and then let's not go down that road because there's just too much noise. We don't want to deal with that. So he backpedals, it seems, on a lot of things. So it's just interesting though, because there's so much value in this realm. So I'm even grateful for all that to get me to utilize this really effective tool and refine my skills within myself to multitask. So it was a means to an end that led me to these other sources. And I shouldn't even stay stuck on just say Charlie Kirk and Dan Bongino, Stu Peters even per se, that I potentially futuristically could refine even further. And we could find the niche that really speaks to us, that we end up doing our due diligence on, that are feeding us more so factual information, that are feeding us to do our own research versus just try to manipulate us into thinking and believing the way we are. All that is so freaking important. So anyway, there was just my own reason. So that's why I've gone here, and then that's why this whole podcast is more so intentional versus this entertainment. Like, okay, cool, brighten your day and to an extent, but if these other more looming threats become effectively then all that just doesn't even matter. Like, it became more meaningless, right? So what's the point? But you can gain the resilience. That's where I'm trying to keep it open to where, hey, we can go into this hopefully in a more positive light and not so doom and gloom, and fuel all of us in a way of man, truly, you all have more control and impact than you know. And one extra step, and no individual shouldering the burdens of everything and saving the world. And I mean, it's so impactful what you can do, just one extra step, one extra conversation. That being said, I'm going to let you go. Have a beautiful Sunday. Have a beautiful week. Would love more feedback. Keep it coming. Thank you so much for your time. Thank you so much for your shares. Thank you for those that have been checking out our partner, Black Eagle Apparel. For those that check it out, just be sure to add Unmuzzled Chat in that checkout, not only to get the 10% off, that does in fact help us here. I'm not worried about the finances. I don't know why. It's a gift from God. That's why. But financially speaking, accountant looks at, our books don't even exist, right? But if they look through numbers, they'd be like, yeah, let's go back to swinging a hammer, James. This isn't but anyway, with time. But bless you. Thank you for supporting us. I'm so grateful. Let's have a positive impact. Go high five someone today. That'd be cool. Take care.